In a land inspired by feudal Japan, and entirely inhabited by cats, Ikachu, a conniving high-ranking official of the land's shogun, desires to expand his giant palace. However, it resides right next to the impoverished village of Kakamucho. Hoping to get rid of it, Ikachu plans to force Kakamucho's residents to abandon their town, by sending a gang of thugs, led by a second-in-hand Oga, to trash the town. The townspeople demand that the shogun appoint a new samurai to protect them, after the previous one flees. Ikachu, hoping to offend the townspeople, decides to appoint Hank, a dog prisoner about to be executed, as Kakamucho's samurai. After an initial hostile reception, Hank relies on the assistance of Jimbo, a catnip-addled samurai, who reluctantly agrees to train him, in order to overcome the townspeople's hostility.
You can call me Jimbo too.
While training, Hank subdues Sumo, an immensely strong henchman that Ikachu sent to drive out the townspeople quicker. The townspeople start to see Hank as a hero, but his newfound popularity ends up going to Hank's head, and he neglects his training, which causes a fallout between him and Jimbo. Ikachu takes Hank to a private nightclub, in order to distract him, as his thugs trash Kakamucho. Hank returns to a devastated town, and after a heated argument with Jimbo, he decides to go home, but an origami figure of himself reminds him of his samurai oath. Meanwhile, Jimbo attempts to storm Ikachu's palace, in hopes to free Sumo, who was captured by Ikachu's henchmen. Hank returns in order to help him out. Upon hearing about Sumo's escape, Ikachu recruits an army of thugs, to get rid of Kakamucho for good. Hank returns to Kakamucho, and explains his plan to defeat Ikachu's army. The townspeople then build a perfect paper copy of the town and themselves as a diversion. When the raiders attack the fake town and its population of dummies, which have been booby-trapped with dynamite, Hank ignites the bombs, and the townspeople attack the thugs. The shogun arrives, who questions the ruckus. Oga accidentally exposes Ikachu's plan to him, causing Ikachu to flee. Hank then chases Ikachu to his palace, where he fights him on his giant jade toilet, which overflows, and threatens to flood the town. Hank warns the Kakamucho townspeople of the incoming flood, and leads them in the digging of a channel, to safely divert the water around the town. With Kakamucho saved, the impressed shogun decides to appoint Jimbo as the new samurai, but he gives the position to Hank. However, Hank feels that he is not entirely ready, so he ends up giving the position to Emiko, a kitten who also desires to be a samurai. Hank and Jimbo continue to train in their own time, with their relationship mended. In a post-credits scene, a now imprisoned Ikachu consoles himself, that at least he will not have to partake in a sequel.
Still, at least I don't have to do the sequel.